What is going on, guys? Now, it has been a while, and time wasn't useless because I did come up with quite a few ideas, but the time it will take to make those scripts, well, I'll just try shoving it in my free time. But with that being said, this what if will take place in the normal Naruto timeline, but of course he's born in Hashirama's time, so how he gets there, well, you'll have to stay tuned and just listen. Naruto would be the youngest brother. He had the same white hair as Tobirama and the normal brown eyes of the clan. Naruto wouldn't really impact the clan as he was treasured and treated with care because he was the only other known woodstyle user. After the war ended, he would eventually take more after Tobirama. He would add the same face markings and would get a colder attitude. He didn't blame the Uchiha despite having a heavy grudge on them. He put his resolve to ending the war and going throughout the world. He would travel the world on his own. He would eventually become a perfect sage, something greater than Hashirama has ever seen. But Hashirama had not known of this. He had thought his brother was just exploring. Naruto would find each of the Biju and would fight them. With nature on his side, it wasn't much of an effort, but he befriended them. He thought of a plan to have the Biju do their initial purpose. If they were guardians to humans, there would be no war under their guidance. His favorite would be Kurama, due to their similar personalities. After returning from his trip with a new aura, anyone near him would just have a sense of calm. It looked like plants grew more vibrant with each step he took. After meeting with Hashirama, the first thing he wanted to do was aspire. The whole shinobi population gathered to see the only two wood-style users fight. Tobirama brought his Genin squad and hoped to inspire them. Koharu, Homura, Hiruzen, and his rival Danzo. After the fight started, to their amazement, when Hashirama used wood on Naruto, he would use one hand seal to turn it on him. With the surprise of his own wood being used against him, it would wrap around him and drain all of his chakra in a near instant. One thing Naruto focused on was the speed of chakra draining. He thought the faster he could drain it, the faster the fight could end. After releasing Hashirama, fell to the ground. Everyone widened their eyes, seeing how the youngest Senju brother soundly defeated the strongest shinobi in the world. After the fight, they would gather in the Senju compound. He had told them of a seal he made with the Uzumakis as a time preservative seal. He said that he will seal himself inside of it for the future when it will be in disarray. They were all against it, but he was adamant with it. They put him in the scroll of seals, but Naruto decided to add a jutsu he learned from the Uzumaki clan, the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Time skip. There was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy running through the forest as he suddenly stopped to open the scroll. But the first thing he saw was a seal. From what he knew, it was to push chakra into it. He ignored it for now and learned the jutsu next to it, the Shadow Clone Jutsu. After Mizuki came and threw the shuriken that hit Hiruko's back, the boy was sent into shock. He stood up to use the Shadow Clone Jutsu, but since his chakra control was so bad, he pushed too much chakra out. With the scroll being on his back, it absorbed all of it. Mizuki burst out laughing, seeing that he could make a jutsu. Suddenly, the smoke burst, covering the whole clearing. The whole village felt an overwhelming presence overcome them. It can't be. That chakra is from that day, four shinobi said at the same time. Red slitted eyes opened up from a dark cage, let out an evil grin full of sharp teeth. Once the smoke cleared, there was a tall man, spiky white hair, 3 red markings on his face, brown eyes. But what shocked everyone was the fact that they were all binded. By wood, for that fact. What is going on here? The boy didn't know what came over him, as he felt he had to answer. My sensei over there, as he pointed to Mizuki. He tricked me into stealing the scroll. I see, the man stated. He waved his wrist as large wood spikes would come from the bindings, piercing him all over, killing him instantly. The bindings fell around the boy and Naruto. Child, what is your name? My name is Menma Uzumaki. An Uzumaki, he thought. But why do I sense his chakra in him? He walked over to heal Iruko's wound instantly. His healing capabilities was on the same level as Hashirama's, if not greater. Suddenly 4 shinobi dropped around the clearing, Danzo, Koharu, Homura, and finally Hiruzen. Naruto-sensei, they all said. Before Naruto's healing, he got to know each of them on a personal level. He had been the older brother figure they never had. He would teach them sealing too. It is what he was in past to dry to make him a seal master. He also taught them jutsu he found from under it. You've all grown old. How are you here? You were set to die. I'll tell you in a more private location. Do something with the trader's body. After they finally noticed Mizuki with spikes going through his whole body, Hiruzen called Anbu to dispose of it. Manu was also brought with them. The first thing they would explain is the occurring events of the village. They would tell him the death of Hashirama, Tobirama, and Mito. After hearing how Tobirama would grow a hatred to the cloud, After hearing how Tobirama would die, he would grow a hatred to the cloud, promising to punish them later. He explained the current states of the world. Downs would step in as he had more information on that because of his root. Koharu and Homura would explain the current politics and the financial situation. Hiruzen would step in again, explaining the 9 sealed attacks and the situation of the boy outside. He would call in Menema to explain his situation of being a Jinchuriki. He would explain to both of them of what Hashirama did. That peace-loving fool. They're all shocked he could say that about his own brother. The bijou are not weapons, you fools. They are protectors from the Sage of Sixpence. He entrusted them to us, to live alongside us. Little did they know there was a certain fox listening in. His smile was only growing. Naruto would bend down to pick up Menma's shirt, asking him to flare his chakra. You're not some kind of pervert, are you? Hiruzen and the elders chuckled, and to the surprise, Danzo did as well. He hadn't felt this lively in years, they also mentally noted. After he flared his chakra, Naruto was surprised he had so much for a kid. Naruto's hand would glow blue, almost white color, as he placed it on Menma's stomach. They arrived in a sewer. Red slitted eyes opened and claws slammed against the cage. Naruto. The deep voice said, Hello, my friend. You said you would protect us. You're wrong. I offered it, but the pride of all the bijou was too much. This is what happens when you let your arrogance get the best of you, Karma. He grunted, which sent wind to push all of their hair back. Free me from this prison. Not now. I had been working on a seal with the Uzumakis for a similar situation, as I had predicted. Something like this would happen. The seal I'm working on, though, will make it so the boy doesn't die. A couple months at most, and then you'll be free. Very well. They left the mindscape as he told what happened to the elders. You can't be serious, especially after what that demon did to the village. It was under control, he simply said. Who's to say he won't be attacking again, said Danzo. That's why I'm here. I have a seal that the Kaibe can give me chakra anytime, and with that seal, he can summon me and I can summon him. If he is overtaken by Genjutsu, I can feel the destruction and force my own chakra. They were all amazed, so this whole time he could have summoned the strongest bijou. They knew Madara could summon, but only by force. Summon the council, he simply said. From what you have told me, the village is a former shell of what it was. Hiruzen let the boy become a shinobi, as he had learned the Shadokoi Jutsu. After the council was summoned, they were all wondering why they had been called. What is the meaning of this, Hiruzen? Said a fat merchant. Before he had another word, Anbu pointed a blade at his throat. It's Hokage-sama, and don't forget it. The Shinobi Council smiled, knowing the goddess Shinobi has returned. After that, someone walked through the door. Everyone's eyes widened. Tobirama is alive? They all shouted inside of their heads. Who are you? Said Sume. My name is Naruto Senju. Although their eyes had widened even further, there was a story that I had thought to be a myth. A boy, the youngest of the Senju brothers, but was also the strongest. He had been able to defeat the Hokage in mere seconds. What is that demon doing here? A fat merchant shouted behind. Behind Naruto was a shy Menma. Normally he wasn't acting like this, but in a room surrounded by so many powerful people, he didn't know how to act. A spike grew out of the wooden chair and pierced the man's chest. Everyone except the elders and Hokage's eyes widened. They were used to Naruto killing anyone who stood against him. Does anyone have something bad to say about this young man? As he put a hand on Momo's head, he let out a beaming smile. No one had stood up for him before. One of the only figures he had in his life was the old man. During my years of wandering, I've come across a certain clan. They had become They had welcomed me with open arms. They had called me their own. To hear they were wiped has brought me much shame. Those villagers will not go unpunished. But as this boy being the last member of the clan, he will be under my care. Everyone's eyes widen to be under protection of the strongest shinobi in history, the closest person to come to the midst of the sage. But that boy doesn't have a clan, said another fat civilian. Quite the contrary. This boy is descendant of one of the strongest shinobi's clan. They rivaled the Senju Uchiha and the Uchiha. The Uzumaki clan are also the one who have taught me their Funjutsu and Kenjutsu. That brought me to their level of a master in their standards. I have many debts to pay to the clan, along with fixing this village. I will make this boy into the fine shinobi he is meant to be. As he started ruffling Menma's hair, he had been letting out a beaming smile that seemed to grow with each word Naruto said. Here's one let out a soft smile. Why not someone else like the Uchiha? I have already said why I'm training him. Anyone who will go against me in my decision will also die for the words. The council meeting had been dismissed. Hiruzen had informed Naruto and Menma about the teams formed. He had also told them that Naruto can't take Menma as an apprentice because the teams would be thrown off balance. He agreed and walked with Menma home. As they were walking down the street, Naruto noticed all the hateful looks. Menma held his head down the whole time. After they arrived to his apartment, he let out a beaming smile. Thank you for all you have done today, Mr. Naruto. He turned around and walked inside. As he was closing the door, a foot stepped in the doorway. I was serious about taking care of you, Menma. Pack your bags. You'll be moving into the central compound. He let out a beaming smile as he jumped on top of Naruto and hugged him tightly. Naruto would show him how to use ceiling scrolls. As they would walk around, Naruto couldn't help but notice all the broken windows and the sheets covering them. After gathering what little Naruto had, he would leave. Naruto would pick Menma up on his back and jump to the central compound. Over the week, Naruto had drilled Menma in all his mistakes, his improper taijutsu form, terrible chakra control, and ninjutsu collection. He normally wouldn't learn much in a week, but Naruto had taught him the true use of shadow clone jutsu. He would also have Menma heavily focus on funjutsu and kenjutsu. He quickly adapted to those as it had come naturally. Upon the days of the exam, Naruto handed Menma a scroll. This is a graduation gift, Menma. He was curious on what it could be, so he unsealed it. It was an all-black skin-tight clothes with orange armor on top of it. Laid a funjutsu set with his very own blade. He started crying and he jumped onto Naruto, continually thanking him. He had said how cool Naruto's armor was, but wished it in orange. There had been many funjutsu markers implanted throughout the armor to absorb his chakra to buff up the defense. Naruto would walk Menma to school that day. After dropping him off to the Hokage's office, he had not left the Senju compound for a week to focus on Menma's training. He left out a small smile thinking about the boy. He truly had an infectious smile. After arriving, he would see all the jonin on standby. They all widened their eyes thinking it was Tobirama. He was let out a chuckle, but after telling them who he truly was, their jaws dropped. With this strength, he had no one to rival it. Madara and Hashirama had each other's rival, Izunu and Tobirama, but Naruto was just a league of his own. He stood by the Hokage's side as he announced the teams to him. He had informed them that they must up their training soon, of the Genin and of their own training. The Jonin themselves will be tested against Naruto soon. The Jonin paled, but Kakashi avoided his thoughts. Hokage-sama, is this really necessary? We are on a time of peace. Hiruzen nodded his head. Peace is merely time periods between war, and Kakashi-kun, you have been slacking ever since you have left Anbu. You're not as strong as you once were. After that, the Jonin got their teams. We skipped to the bell test. After Kakashi and Menma stood there with a serious look on his face, Kakashi could have sworn he saw Minato for a second. He dashed towards them, unsheathing the sword for a vertical slash. Kakashi jumped to the side, but a shadow clone jumped out of the bush, throwing a kunai on it with a tag on it. Kakashi's eyes widened as he had been caught completely off guard. The tag exploded. Not an explosion, it was all paint. Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke all sweat dropped. It seems he didn't change after all, they all thought. But While they stood there distracted, Naruto charged Kakashi. They clashed fists, but Menma smiled and he said one word. Boom. He exploded, throwing him back. After Kakashi got his bearings, he couldn't find Menma anywhere. You trained him well, Sensei, said Hiruzen. I know. I trained you after all. Naruto would find Sasuke and convince him the point of the goal was teamwork. He had told him the village was basically built on that principle. They got Sakura, but she just agreed because Sasuke did. They would work together to not get the bells, but not get the bells. After the timer rang, Kakashi would tie up Naruto for the stunt he pulled. It seemed none of you got the bells, he said menacingly. But his mind was already going to pass them, but he just wanted to play. Sasuke and Sakura shivered, but Naruto just smiled. Are you sure, Sensei? Kakashi lifted the bells in front of his face. I'm sure, but before he could finish the sentence, they exploded into orange paint. Menma burst out laughing, as Hiruzen and Naruto had been chuckling too. When did you get the bells? Kakashi asked, after wiping his face. When you had paint in your face the first time. He passed them and taught them the principles of teamwork. He dismissed them and went to report. After saying teams 1 through 6 had passed, he went to 7. After not seeing Kakashi, Hiruzen was going to go to Kurenai, but the door opened, putting everyone's attention to him. Hiruzen and Naruto let out a knowing smile. They were all amazed how Kakashi looked so roughed up. Team 7 passed, and they were amazed further. Who did that to you, Kakashi? Asuma said while trying to hide his chuckle. Probably the Uchiha, said the Jonin, as the majority of them agreed. Kakashi shook his head. It was Menma. Well guys, that's the end of the first part. Let me know if you want me to keep doing this part. I know I stuttered a few times, but that's something only experience can get rid of. So I'll keep making these series. And yeah, let me know if you guys like it. See ya.